Yo, welcome to my epic voice reveal, baby. I mean, you've already heard my voice. Anyway, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is a show from 2010 that's all about friendship and love and caring about one another. You know, useless crap like that. I probably don't need to tell you that this show had a huge boom in popularity, and the fact that it still has a fan base is kind of crazy in my opinion. Even for someone like my parents, by the way, hi mom, hi dad, and you haven't seen this show, you probably know what it is because people like me won't shut up about it. But enough about the queer horses, we're talking about zombies today. MLP Infection AUs, as they've been referred to, is a TikTok trend that's been slowly making its way onto YouTube since, well, you know, TikTok is on its deathbed, or at least it was when I wrote this part of the script, dang it. I did some research on what the first AU was, and it turned out to be an AU called Pestraobia, I think. And I know some smart guys are probably going to say, actually, the first infection AU was the cause since it came out in 2012, and No. It's labeled as a grimdark, and while I'd love if this was some sort of Simpsons-esque prediction, you can't see the future in real life. Oh, never mind. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this trend for a while, and I even mentioned the idea in my update video a while back, which, you know, is the one you didn't watch. However, I held off because this was easily the hardest video to make out of all the ideas I have. I had to write a script, I had to sit down and read through all these, and even worse, I had to download Google Docs. Screw the horses, that's the scariest thing in this world. So we're going to talk about some of my favorites, discuss what I like, discuss what I don't really like, and by the end, we'll try and figure out why this trend blew up. I mean, what, did you think I was going to talk about Fortnite or something? Hey, so like I just said, this was probably the hardest video to make out of all the videos I've made so far. Since most of what you're about to see is just slideshows and images, I had a hard time figuring out how to keep your interest peaked so that you'd watch the full video. And I only realized this while I was in the middle of writing the script. So I went with my gut, and now I'm regretting the mere concept of this video even existing. Also, I want to issue a major spoiler warning for every AU I talk about and every AU I show images from. If you're interested in reading them yourselves, or if you're currently reading through them, then the links for all of them are in the description. I highly recommend you read through them all before watching this video. That is, after you like and subscribe. Anyway, let's get this over with already.
Stay in the box! No! Stay in the box! No! Get out of my skin!
My Little Worms. Stop. Alright, so I'm gonna keep this one brief. So I made a ton of covers based on this AU, and I'm honestly not sure what else I can say other than, haha, funny horse burns alive. I mean, it's very unique. For example, what other AUs have horrifying mutilations? Aside from literally every infection AU ever, some even do this type of mutilation a lot better. For example, Magic is Dead. Sure, this isn't as scary, but you get my point, you know what I mean? Just ignore that point I had about My Little Worms, it doesn't really matter anymore. Or parasites that can cause ponies to develop multiple personalities. Or child abandonment, that also happens in this AU. Huh. So what else sets this apart from the rest of the AUs? Well, yeah, I think this is one of the most controversial AUs ever, and it's not even a contest. Don't believe me? That's fine. I'll just list off something that happens in this AU, and we'll see what you think. So in one of the episodes, we see what looks to be a flashback with Cadence, Shining Armor, and Flurry Heart. At the end, it's revealed that this is not a flashback, and that Cadence is basically playing dolls with their corpses. Now, if it ended there, maybe I would have moved on, but of course it didn't. It then states that not only is Cadence just flat out insane, but it also says something that I can't say out loud. Now, if you don't know what this means, good. If you want to know, don't. Again, maybe, and this is just the smallest maybe I've ever given, maybe this could have blown over, but of course it didn't, because I'm going insane. In the Season 2 character bios, it's revealed that Cadence is pregnant once again. Now, if you're wondering how, stop. You do not want to know the things I know. So after all my yapping, do you think it deserves to be controversial? Yes? Yeah, I thought so. And if you still don't believe me, take my friend's word for it. Caleb, what are your thoughts on this image?
I have no idea.
The AU also went on hiatus for a long time, and by a long time, I mean it still hasn't come back as of the time I'm writing this section. Though there is a fan continuation, and I guess it's alright. I mean, after all, it did give me this funny image. But yeah, this AU is objectively bad. Every criticism people have for this AU is 100% valid. Everyone's out of character, and some of the scary moments are just gross. And seriously, what in God's name are they thinking? Oh, I only really like it because it's pretty funny in my opinion. Maybe I'm just weird. And that's true, but so many moments made me laugh out loud, like Fluttershy being held hostage, or the aforementioned sacrifice of the damned. Obviously there are some moments that just aren't even funny, that's how bad they are, but I'd say the ratio is like 85 to 15. And again, that could just be me, so take that with a grain of salt. Overall, I'd give this one like a 6 out of 10. And yes, I'm ranking these. I can rank whatever I want. Here's my ranking of the Haribo Twin Snake flavors. Why didn't they make the purple one cherry flavored? Hey, so while I was writing the script, the original creator actually continued the series. I don't have much else to add other than this is nightmare fuel, and I like how they just leave Treehugger to be eaten. That's pretty funny. I'm gonna keep this one brief as well. Black Tree Disease was one of my favorite AUs, and then they deleted it. So the creator revealed midway through the series that they had some sort of cancer, though I don't remember what kind specifically. I don't know, maybe you could let me know. Either way, things escalated, and they wiped their account clean, so the AU is basically erased. The only archive of it are the 3 videos that James Elfie made on it. While I was editing this section, I found these 2 videos by Ghost and Virurum. These are also full archives of Black Tree Disease, so I just wanted to put them out there in case you commented, hey, this isn't the only full archive. Anyway, back to the video you were watching. Since then, they've gotten a lot better, and they've rebooted the series, though I'm pretty sure it's on hiatus again. I don't know, I haven't checked since writing this section. Either way, I'm sure they'll still be great. Not much more else to say other than they killed the baby. If anything, I have to admire the balls to kill off a child this quickly. But trust me, this won't be the last time they do it. Overall, 8 out of 10. While I was editing this section, I found out that the creator canceled the series again. Turns out they have an actual job, as well as an actual life outside of the series. Honestly though, I kind of applaud them for canceling the series twice. That takes balls. Live a good life, kid. You've earned it. First off, haha, funny FNF reference. Please laugh. Second, I think the base idea of this AU is really funny, to be honest. Twilight tries to cure Celestia's cold, and ends up infecting her with whatever this is. So obviously in a world where friendship is literally magic, you'd think Luna would let Twilight explain herself. I mean, after all, this very well could have been an accident. So anyway, she wants Twilight to be hung, you know, hung by jumper cables. That's kind of crazy. Maybe I'm soulless or something. What? But like, this is pretty funny, you have to admit. I also like how they, oh, okay. It's always my favorite characters to die first. And Spike, I mean, yeah, he exists too. Yeah, this one gets heavy fast. Now, obviously, as someone who doesn't cry at the funny horses, sometimes, it didn't really make me sad, though I have to agree with this comment on my Frostbite video. If this was animated, or at the very least voice acted, I probably would have cried. Then again, they also chose My Singing Monsters music for one of the chapters, so I don't know, it could go in a 50-50 to be honest. I also like this chapter where Rainbow and Applejack really like this chapter where Rainbow and Applejack just talk to each other, even though Rainbow isn't really helping. Like, wham, my wings are gone. Meanwhile, your friend over here just had to kill their sister. I know the rainbow stands for pride, but I didn't think you'd take it that far.
You think it's so fucking funny, huh? Funny.
Not much more to say, 7 out of 10. Hey, so while I was recording that segment, this Gen 5 comic came out, and, yeah, I take back what I said about Rainbow. I found this one very recently, and it's certainly something. Off the bat, this is the longest AU I've ever seen. It's gone on for 3 seasons, it's still going on, and they've even brought in the Young Six and Equestria Girls, which is something no other AU has done before. Except the Equestria Girls part, that My Little Limbs did that one first. I'm not talking about My Little Limbs. Usually with long AUs, I'd rather just listen to someone read through them, but not this time. I decided to read through it all by myself, and why? I don't know. Alright, so positives. I like how Nurse Retard is actually doing something interesting, unlike every other AU she's in. Especially why we butcher the side characters, it's hard. It's always nice to see Chrysalis. Sometimes. And again, I'm surprised they had the balls to kill off not just Flurry Heart, but all the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Again. Now, as for everything else, the character writing isn't that great, and like, that's a standard for this kind of genre. Not every AU is gonna have the best character writing, but I'd say this is one of my least favorite ones. It's not as bad as My Little Worms, but it's getting there in my opinion. And again, I do like this, so my opinions are relevant. There are also a lot of grammar mistakes, but I'm not gonna fault them for that. I mean, I make a lot of mistakes. It'd be like calling a horse ugly when you are the horse. No, better yet, when you're the donkey. Imagine a donkey calling a horse ugly, that'd be hilarious. I will, however, fault them for unironically using RIP. Not even on a tombstone, I mean like having a character say RIP out loud. Who does that? Do you do that? No? Didn't think so. That being said, this is the funniest Infection AU I think I've ever seen. And I don't mean that as an insult, I genuinely love how funny this one is. That's what makes this one stick out in my mind. I think my brain must be on crack or something, because there's no way this should be funny. But it is to me. Same for this, but like, you think this is funny too. You can't deny it. Horror-based stuff official. If you're watching this, I love your AU. Keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait for whatever other AU you have in store. 7 out of 10. Also, before we move on, I just want to say this. Twilight is done so dirty. In almost every Infection AU, she either gets infected first, starts the infection, or in both. And in one of the few ones where neither of those happen, her baby niece dies, she has to put her brother down, but don't worry, the funny nurse gets to him first. Her mom's alive, and then she's eaten alive, and while I don't remember what happens to her dad, he's probably dead as well, because what in the name of our Lord and Savior is a guy named Nightlight gonna do in this situation? Exactly nothing! Also, that was the hardest section to record. I had like 20 outtakes I couldn't use. If you thought that was remotely funny, subscribe. I need this one. Alright, so I'm starting to run out of things to say about these AUs. I mean, we are on Zombie Apocalypse story number 52,846, so I'm just gonna rapid fire through a few more and then we'll get to the conclusion. The Rot. I mean, I like how the disease is basically just rabies to the squeakle. The designs are pretty scary. Then again, I can show you something scarier. Yeah, I got nothing. 6.5 out of 10. I also haven't fully read through this one, so like, give me a month, maybe my opinion will change. The Infection. Real creative naming out there. I wonder how long it took you to come up with that one. A lot of my praises for this one has to do with the channel itself, like the toy aspect, or the fact that one person is doing all these impressions. At least I think. Even then, I like the idea behind this infection. This is the closest we'll get to the actual character writing, at least in my opinion. And seriously, this is really charming. 8.5 out of 10. Ethereal Curse. I have to dock points for the AI voices, especially since Fluttershy is the only one who's voiced by a person, because that makes sense. But I really do like the lore in this one. It feels like something that could come out of the show, and that's one of the biggest compliments you can get for an Infection AU. They also put out a casting call while I was making this video, so maybe the score will go up. Obviously, if that single factor doesn't determine whether or not the score goes up, the series does have to remain consistently good, but like, at least they're trying to make it better when it comes to the voices. Sorry, I started there. God, I'm stupid. 7.5 out of 10. Just go to the next one. God. And finally, Annihilation. I love the art here. It looks so good, and it makes moments like this look scarier than if they just used stills from the show. The story's also pretty good as well, so like, 9 out of 10. Man, if I had a nickel for every time a baby/filly was either infected or killed in one of these AUs, I'd have enough nickels to buy a Hershey's bar. Specifically the cookies and cream one, because that's the best one. I don't want to hear it. Also, remember how I said Twilight was done dirty in Swamp Root Disease? Yeah, swap her with Pinky, and you've got this AU. And that sucks, because I really like Pinky. She's just like me, for real, for real. That was a joke.
Funny moment!
So that's every Infection AU I want to talk about in this video. I mean, I could talk about this one, but you don't want me to talk about this one, trust me. But there's still one question that remains unanswered. Why did these blow up? I mean, this stuff isn't limited to MLP anymore. I've seen Infection AUs for Inside Out, Amazing Ninja the Circus, Amazing World of Gumball, Young Sheldon. Someone I know even made a PVZ Infection AU, and that just goes to show how big this trend was and still is. So surely, some giga-brain scientist had to have engineered this concept in like a lab or something, right? Well, while I don't have a definitive answer, I doubt we ever will, I do have a likely answer. I don't use TikTok that often, I know, how dare I, but from what I've seen, when a trend blows up, it blows up. Everyone tries to get in on it. Even your grandma's probably out here trying to get on it. Go on, ask her, I dare you. Doesn't matter if it's dangerous or not, if it's popular, people will do it regardless. You also have to keep in mind, TikTok's algorithm works kind of weird. If you watch something for more than 2 seconds, they'll automatically assume you want more, and you won't stop hearing about it for 62 decades. So there you go. There's your answer. People, more specifically MLP fans, were recommended the first Infection AU while scrolling through TikTok, and they wanted to make their own. And the more Infection AUs there are, the more likely it is that you'll get recommended them. And if it gets recommended to the right person, they'll want to make their own, and so on and so forth. And eventually, like I said, there were so many AUs that people started covering them on YouTube, which just gave them more attention. And now it's just an endless circle of the funny. It's also not helped by the fact that stuff like this straight up happens in the show. I mean, there's literally a disease that turns you into a tree. Okay, man, that's really cool. So yeah, there's your funny reason. But that's a bit anticlimactic, so here are a few bonus theories. 1. Some guy was watching The Walking Dead and he thought, how can I watch this? There's no button mash. 2. Someone was watching 28 Pranks Later and thought, man, what if Rainbow Dash actually did cause a zombie apocalypse? Wait a minute. And 3. This entire trend was just a ploy made by yours truly, me, in order to make my funny FNF covers. You're welcome! Well, that's about all I wanted to say, to be honest. Sorry if this video was stupid. I'm not used to making these long form videos, and I wanted it to be special because, like, oh, it's the end of the year, and like, oh, I gotta put out something worthwhile. After all, you have been sitting through like 500 consecutive MLP covers of FNF songs, so like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at this point because, like, it's been a weird year. Like, this channel never really got that popular, to be honest, in like the first 2 months. Hell, not even like 2 months, like the first few like months of me posting to it, and then suddenly I post one video and now it's got a fairly decent following, and like, I'm still shocked that happened. Like, really, guys, thank you. Whether this was a good video or not, that's up to you. I'll give you a hint. It isn't a good option, but still, I wanted to post something. And like, there were just a lot of AUs I didn't talk about, like the Rainbow Mouth, I mentioned that one at the end. Divine Swamp Fever, that's a pretty popular one. Deadly Dirt, Flower, there's this pretty cool one called the Doppelganger. I didn't mention it, but it's pretty cool, you should go follow it. I mean, it has my favorite MLP character in it, Dead Mother. And like, let's get this one out of the way right now. I'm not making a part 2. If you want my opinion on like a specific AU, leave it in the, I didn't mention, leave it in the comments, I'll talk about it then and there. But like, yeah, no part 2. Unless I find something truly groundbreaking, unless this trend dies tomorrow morning, I'm not making a part 2. I just want to emphasize that in case someone decides to ask. I do have more long-form videos planned for this channel, but like, this one took an entire year to make, so I don't know if they're ever going to come out, to be honest. But anyways, what did we learn?
Never go outside.